it said I reached the limit. Um, but this is part 2 of my story and my life and my experiences. Like I said, why did it take so long to get to the coping skills? And it's like, why can't we just use coping skills instead of pills that are going to have an effect on us? Um, and like I mentioned, before, it's, um, when it's a combination of things going on, that's when stuff pops off. Like, before, like when I went into there the first time, I stopped taking Zoloft, and then I had accidentally got a hold of K2 and smoked it. This most recent time, and it was the third time that I've had to go to this particular hospital. um, I was doing intermittent fasting. In December, I was working out and doing intermittent fasting, and I was breastfeeding. You know, I was a new mother. I'm still a new mother, of twins at that. I've been breastfeeding twins. Thought I was having UTIs, but I was really just dehydrated. And then I had suddenly stopped taking my birth control. My birth control, it was called Mylan. Um, and this this last time, it was just really, really ridiculous that I uh, went to this particular hospital. I'm gonna call the doctor, uh, Dr. Y. And Dr. Y was telling my man that I was psychotic, but I remember when um, they transported me um, to the fourth floor of this particular hospital. Um, I was being calm. Oh, yeah. And I will mention this first time, the first time that I went in there, I had lost my glasses. I had lost my glasses for up to like 10 to 12 days. And that affected me because I didn't know what was going on, but I was just like taking it because I thought, this is a journey I'm going on the first time. And then in the second time, I couldn't find my glasses again, and I was getting scared. I couldn't see food if there was food there, so I probably wasn't eating. And basically, they let me run around acting crazy because I didn't have my glasses. And I was scared too, because I didn't have my glasses. And then I remember one of the nurses or one of the staff members, whoever she was like, "Oh, Bria, here's your glasses." They do stuff also to agitate patients. They'll put patients that don't like each other together to see if they gonna argue, and then they gonna write down the argument and then tell the patients that they need to stay longer. And that was a whole nother thing. Like, you could never leave when you wanted to. like like I mentioned before, you couldn't leave on your own recognizance. Like, how can you take somebody's free will away? So there was absolutely nothing constructive for us to do. There was no like mental rehabilitation, no emotional rehabilitation at all. We might have had occupational therapy and then recreational therapy um, every day, but that was only for 45 minutes per per therapy. And then before you knew it, you was back on the unit, and actually everything was on the same floor. And even when you went outside for rec, they got a big old gate up, like we was in jail, like we committed crimes, and it was innocent people up in there. And like I said, there was a lot of floats. There was a lot of floats in there, and because they had so many floats, they would write down the wrong schedule, and they wouldn't care. They would not care. Um, like one float wrote down that we had wreck twice, and then I asked about the wreck, and she was just like, "Oh, I guess you guys only get wreck once today. Oh well." And I'm like, y'all can clock out and go home, but we can't. And the staff, well, the doctors and the social workers want it to be a whole little game to where we got to play the waiting game for when we could leave. Sometimes we get lunch up to an hour late. You know, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It felt like it came when it wanted to come. And there were times we didn't have towels available to us. And I found that to be really ridiculous because that's a basic right. That's a basic human right. If you're charging my insurance for me to stay in this room, for room and board, you're charging my insurance, you should be able to provide me with towels. It was times where we were given washcloths to use as towels. Multiple washcloths, and they should be absolutely ashamed. And I'm making this video so people know what's going on and people can change what's going on in the health field, the mental health field, because this is starting to be ridiculous. And the way y'all think y'all are helping people, y'all aren't helping people. Y'all need to help people with, y'all need to let us have coping mechanisms instead of just shoving pills down people's throats and then telling them, oh, it's not a happy pill. It's not a happy pill. So you know it's not going to work anyway. Okay. And also, I think I may have mentioned this in part 1, but your stay there is based on your insurance. It's not based on when you want to leave. They charged me 6 days at a time. So I stayed there 12 days total the last time I was there. Um, they even lied to my man and said after 72 hours I can go home. And I was like, I know they ain't telling the truth. I know they ain't telling the truth when he said, oh, you gonna be home on Thursday. I was like, no, I already know they give me the runaround. I was like, watch it be Friday. And it was. I had to leave Friday because guess what? They wouldn't have gotten paid if they let me leave on Thursday. So that's ridiculous. You should be able to leave when you want to leave. You know, you ain't hurting nobody in there. It's ridiculous. You can't go home. You can't decide when you want to go home. But we're adults. And it's people like the social worker and the doctor, which you see for like 5 minutes at the most. They don't be on them. They do not take a walk. They have never taken a walk in our shoes. All these so-called professionals, they need to take